You know what else is, I guess, popping off is Microsoft and their Xbox Game Pass.
That is very true, Mike. It's very true. Rolling.
Sorry, was there any other
Right.
updates?
No, there was
Should
not.
have asked you.
There was not.
Okay, good.
I'm ready for the main updates of the week, and that is the stories and the news that we cover. And it's starting off. Wait, dude, I kind of started with a heavy hitter, and by heavy hitter I mean Forbes. We're talking Forbes. Like we're talking the company that I feel like doesn't talk about gaming at a very like broad, like if I go to search for articles in the gaming news world, you don't see Forbes often show up in the SEO
You
unless it's
really
like
don't.
a big like
Unless
article.
yeah.
So
Or, like,
anyways,
Business Insider, I'll see that every now and then.
yeah. Anyways, Paul Tassi, I'll say it like that. So it sounds like senior contributor over at the Forbes. He said it's time for Microsoft to put online multiplayer on all levels of Game Pass. And there's other context to this, right? Because you're thinking, okay, all levels of Game Pass. I know we have like Game Pass for PC, we have console Game Pass, and we have Game Pass Ultimate. That's kind of like the tiers, but there's actually been some changes, and it's covered in this article as well. That Xbox Live Gold um is actually going to be discontinued coming, I think, September. Um, and so no more like Xbox Live Gold, no more Games with Gold, that kind of thing. They're also discontinuing that. So end of an era, might I say, because that's like what 10 years that we've had Games with Gold for Xbox subscribers. So yeah, that is no more. Anyways, Paul said, when I heard that Xbox Live Gold was dying on Monday, my first thought was, finally, the concept seemed outdated at this point, and it made sense for Microsoft to consolidate everything under the Game Pass label, which is exactly what they did. They just essentially took Game Pass, created a couple other tiers that you can peruse now. However, it is clear that Microsoft was not changing anything about the online access portion of Gold in the move to Core, nor was it updating console Game Pass either. The problem with Xbox Live Gold has always been that you buy it mainly for the ability to play Xbox games online on your console. But then if you want Game Pass, you have to upgrade to Ultimate for a higher price to get them both. But now with the nomenclature change, it becomes even more confusing and less logical. And it's time for Microsoft to give this separation up already. With Game Pass Core converting over from Xbox Live Gold, this now means that Xbox Game Pass Core at $10 a month has online multiplayer access with 25 selected games that you can play anytime. Xbox Game Pass Console, which is $11 a month, does not have online multiplayer, and all Game Pass games on console and includes that as well. Xbox Game Pass PC is $10 a month. It has online multiplayer because you never needed gold for PC, and then all Game Pass games on PC. And then of course Ultimate, we all know Ultimate. We preach about it here all the time on the show. You get the online multiplayer access. You get everything on console, PC. You get XCloud. You get EA Plays included in that. I mean, it's a huge value. You know, it was $15, but now it's recently been raised to 17. So yeah, there's also a little graphic that's included to kind of show you everything between the tiers on the article. But you can see the odd man out here, which is Game Pass Console, the only listing that after all this time still does not have the ability to play online. But if you only buy Core, which is formerly Xbox Live Gold, you get the online multiplayer, but not the full Game Pass. The only way to get both is to buy Ultimate, which may come with additional things you don't care about, like PC, cloud, or EA Play. Very true. Very true observation. But I think, I mean, I don't know. You know, it's weird if you're a console only player, right, Mike? Because it's like, you know, you want to. I think the biggest thing is being able to play. Most people on console, um, you know, they need at some point the multiplayer functionality. And so it kind of makes you think, like, you know, if you want the Game Pass library too, it's like you can't have the best of both worlds right now if you're console only. So it's like but if you're on PC, but you get I think it's just the ultimate value. And I think, you know, an extra, I mean, it's easy for me to be like, okay, I mean, I have a PC, so the extra $7 to get everything, including xCloud, where I can play stuff on my phone and whatnot, like that's a no brainer for me. But I mean, trying to think in terms of like someone who's only on console, yeah, it's an interesting spot that I feel like they're getting placed in, and it makes me wonder how big of a player base is console only at this point. You know?
Yeah, it's kinda hard to tell because, like, we do know that the PC player base has definitely expanded a lot just in the last, like, 10 years alone.
Yeah.
Um, but it I don't know how to really take it. So it's kind of like getting rid of gold was needed to happen, but you can still get core, and most of the consoles can't really handle more than 25 games anyway. But you
I
do
mean,
get online play,
yeah.
you know? But if you go with this like Xbox Game Pass console only, it's like I don't know, man. The no online multiplayer is pretty rough for console.
Yeah, I mean,
They're
I
basically
think it is
encourage
too.
you to do ultimate, right? Because I think more people that would use EA Play, like sports games, even racing games, um, are more likely to use or be on console. So the ultimate would be the one that they're kind of forced into.
Yeah, it's a good point.
That's,
Yeah. Um,
yeah, that's kind of tough. I wouldn't really know how I feel about it if I was strictly console only. It's really tough for people.
yeah, it really is. I mean, the article goes on. So Paul says, while this has always been a problem for Gold's existence, it's even more visible now that they're all under one Game Pass banner. Feels like core maybe shouldn't even exist at all, and online is just rolled up into console. While with Ultimate still attractive with all other bonuses, should people want that? Otherwise, these tiers feel illogical, and the blatant goal of herding as many people into Ultimate as possible because buying core and console separately makes little sense. I would say no sense, but
Yeah,
that's just me.
yeah, I would say that too.
Um, yeah, it's as though you can get a Euro core for half price, $60 total, making the price essentially the same. But it's like just get Ultimate, you know what I'm saying? Microsoft prides itself on being a good value to consumers, even it comes as potential cost of it with foregone sales of Game Pass titles. But the way the core console Ultimate system is laid out is not pro-consumer in the least, and makes little sense. Of course your console needs access to online multiplayer era of video games we've been living in for practically 2 decades. Um,
That's a well, I wouldn't say that long, but yeah.
yeah, I mean a while, yeah. Um, yeah, it feels like 15. You know what I mean? Like more like 15 maybe.
Yeah,
But
that's what I was gonna say. It
uh,
was like 15 is really where it was like everything has to be online now.
yeah, guys, it makes you think too. Back to we're coming up on almost 10 years of the whole DRM era, where it was like you had to be console had to be online. You couldn't play anything offline. So
You had to have like a connect always as well.
yeah, I know, and they had to be connected, and yeah, jeez, it blows my mind. We're almost 10 years into that. Anyways, it says they are triple dipping with players playing their ISP to access the internet in the first place. Then you're paying Microsoft to access online multiplayer through Xbox. Then you're paying Microsoft again for Game Pass, which has become a cornerstone of the entire Xbox ecosystem. It's a relic of the past, and it's time to let it die, even if it hurts a little. So yeah, I mean overall,
That's a good point.
yeah, I don't know. Paul made some good points there. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. I've been seeing articles of this, like other articles too, just kind of discussing. I even saw tweets pointing this out of like it's the tiers for Game Pass are just weird now because like you have core, but then but like Paul said, it kind of you have core, you have console, and it's just obvious that especially if Xbox doesn't change it, they definitely want you to just get Ultimate at that point, right? Like they just want to
Yeah.
kind of shoehorn people into Ultimate. Which I mean, it's a little backwards, especially with the pro consumer approach that Xbox takes, and I think continues to take with Game Pass and the extreme value that is Ultimate. So it's really weird. I mean, I get it's a business and everything, but it kind of but then again too, with the acquiring Activision Blizzard, it could maybe people see this and they're like, okay, well, is this not what we thought from Microsoft in terms of trying to be pro consumer and all that, and making sure like COD is available everywhere because that's apparently the make or break game. It's a weird time that Xbox kind of announces this on the crux of closing this major deal, right? I don't know. It's weird, Mike. I don't know how to feel.
Yeah, I mean, so I guess what they're really losing is honestly they might so I'm trying to compare this directly to the Xbox Live Gold version, right? So the
Yeah.
Xbox Live version the Gold version had essentially the same thing, had online multiplayer access. Uh but the thing that they didn't have was the catalog of 25 high quality games on console. Were there free games with Xbox Live Gold? There probably was.
Oh yeah, you got the games of
I
gold,
think they
right?
even had that with yeah, they even had that with like Xbox 360. So I don't think they really changed anything and it's the same price. I think now they're just trying to like ease Xbox users into the overall like I don't even know what to call it, like, the overall ecosystem that is Xbox Game Pass?
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Probably. Um.
Yeah, it is interesting that they're saying it's, like, the next one up for the console is, like, you cannot play online multiplayer, but you get all the Game Pass games.
Yeah. It's weird. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
for $1 more.
yeah.
It's encouraging people to use the Ultimate, I think.
I mean, definitely. It's weird too. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, I don't think. I mean, I don't know if Xbox is gonna change it. But if they do like allow online multiplayer on the console tier, they're gonna have to restructure everything. I feel like to make it make sense almost. So I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know. I have a feeling it may stay, but I don't know. You know, there's people much smarter than me probably trying to tier all this out and figure out a way to um be a little more pro consumer about it. But yeah, it's definitely a just get ultimate kind of approach. So
Yeah.
it's weird.
Yeah, from the perspective of Microsoft and Xbox, I can see what they're doing, and I could definitely see why people, like consumers who only have Xbox Live Gold would be a little bit annoyed, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't know, dude. Yeah, you know what? The most recent Game Pass game I probably played recently was like the Windows Minecraft version that you actually need like the client for. It's not like the outside. It's not like the outside moddable version, but yeah, that's
Oh, yeah.
yeah. But I mean, that's
That's one letdown, though,
yeah.
right? You can't do modded versions of Xbox, like, Game Pass games, can you?
I mean, I don't know, probably not. I mean, well,
Yeah.
see, I don't know. I mean, maybe with some of the Fallout games, there's like heavy modding, so it makes me wonder if they actually
Yeah, it's, like,
allow.
heavily encouraged, too.
Right, yeah. I mean, it makes you wonder if they actually allow that. I mean, I wouldn't see why not. If you wanted to mod like a Fallout, like an older Fallout or something like that. It's a good question though. I don't know the full details.
Yeah.
Maybe you need the Steam
Side
version.
note Yeah, side note from, like, the perspective of modding, I think that needs to be encouraged, like, across the board with modern titles. Because, like, modding is essentially, like, free work. If you get stuff that's not, like, corruptible, like break a game kinda stuff or,
Yeah.
like, break online integrity in multiplayer games, but stuff that, like, adds content, like modding and creating new maps, modding and creating, like, new skins and color formats, stuff like that. Texture packaging and stuff like that.
Are you saying you want
That's really
every?
big in emulation.
Yeah, yeah. So are you saying you want every game to get a Forge mode? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, kind of, yeah. I think the first time I ever side note, first time I ever saw like a forge mode where you can create your own map was in like a BMX game on I think the first Xbox. You can like make a
Dang.
skate park.
I feel
Remember
like
Tony
that's
Hawk? This is like around the same era of Tony Hawk.
yeah. I feel like it's
Uh,
insane for an Xbox game being able to create stuff like that.
yeah.
Dude, that's wild.